Welcome. A quick note on what this channel actually is before anything else. I don't cover projects that land in my inbox. I go looking for things myself, put them through extended real-world use, and document what comes out of that process. And for the better part of the last 2 years, a large portion of that time has gone into one specific corner of the crypto ecosystem: non-custodial swap infrastructure. It's an area that's been evolving quietly but meaningfully, and I think it deserves more rigorous coverage than it typically gets. There's one platform I've had in active rotation for the past 4 months, and today I want to put it on screen properly, full walkthrough, then get into what makes this architecture work the way it does. And I'll close with something practical, the specific markers I use to separate legitimate services from the ones that aren't.
So let's get into it. I'm going to walk through a Bitcoin to Tron swap, which is a slightly more interesting pair technically and gives a good picture of how the platform handles cross-chain routing. So over here in this window, I'm configuring the pair, BTC on the send side. That's set, TRX as the receive token, good. And immediately below that, the platform populates all the relevant figures: exchange rate, exchange fee, and estimated time to completion. Let me just go through those numbers. Yeah, everything there is fine. Let's move on. Next step, destination address for the Tron. I'm entering that here. There's also an optional refund address below that, which I'd actually recommend filling in as a general habit, and then an email field for transaction notifications. Just a moment while I get all of that in. Okay, done. Moving to the next screen. This is the confirmation stage. Exchange details, full summary. Reading through it now. Yeah, that all lines up with what I set. Privacy policy accepted, and I'm hitting create order.
All right, order is live. The platform is waiting on the token send from my end. One moment. Okay, everything on my side is done. Pressing the confirm button, and good, we are processing. The swap is running automatically from here. TRX should arrive at the destination address within a few minutes. And this is actually a good moment to get into the mechanics, because the processing behavior I just described is directly tied to how this type of system is architected. So the defining characteristic of a non-custodial exchange is the absence of an intermediate custody layer. At no point in what you just watched did the platform hold anything. The send originated from my wallet, the route was calculated and executed on-chain, and the output is going directly to my address. The platform's role in that sequence is purely facilitation: routing logic, rate aggregation, and execution. It doesn't take possession of assets, it doesn't store credentials, it has no wallet of its own that my funds pass through. Now, centralized exchanges are built on the opposite premise entirely. The model there requires you to deposit assets into the exchange's own infrastructure, which means from the moment of deposit, those assets are under the exchange's control. You're trusting their security, their solvency, their operational continuity. Non-custodial removes that dependency at the architectural level. No third-party exposure, no data footprint, no scenario where the platform's problems become your problems. The chain is doing the work. The platform is just the interface to it. And now, the part I consider equally important to anything technical, which is the question of how to actually evaluate a service before using it, because the fraud density in this space is something I want to address directly. So after 4+ years of working through crypto infrastructure systematically, I can say that fake platforms are not a peripheral issue. They're a consistent and well-distributed presence across search results, forums, social channels, and the more established this category becomes, the more convincing the imitations get. Part of what creates cover for that is the pace of legitimate development. New tooling, new terminology, new use cases appearing faster than general understanding can keep up with. And that gap is exactly where bad actors position themselves. This pattern isn't unique to crypto. It shows up anywhere that technical complexity is advancing faster than the audience's baseline familiarity. But in crypto, the financial stakes make it more consequential. So, 3 things I treat as non-negotiable checks: visual quality, the design of a platform as a proxy for the intentionality behind it, unresolved layouts, inconsistent component styling, elements that feel assembled rather than designed. Those aren't aesthetic complaints, they're operational signals. The second is flow logic. If moving through the platform requires effort to interpret, if the sequence of steps doesn't follow naturally from one to the next, that friction is usually intentional. Platforms built to actually work are built to be understood. And third, security transparency. If the platform can't point me to clear, substantive documentation on how funds are handled, what the underlying trust model is, whether any external audit exists, that's where I stop. All right, that's the full picture. Thank you for watching.